Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Today's session is on identity theft, and we're going to talk about the new ID theft product that we have available through A2 out there. And, before I get started, let me just talk a little bit about identity theft as a whole. I'm pretty familiar with this product. I've been covered by this product, I guess, for about 9 or 10 years now. And I am actually very happy with the product, and I'll tell you what, as we watch what happened this last year, I think a lot of people are becoming a lot more aware of this product. It was the middle of Christmas season when all of a sudden Target came out there and said they had had a major leak and millions and millions of people's identities had been stolen out there. They didn't know how bad it was. Then this spring we walked into the year and we saw that eBay had a problem, and then Internet Explorer had a problem. And all of a sudden nationwide, people have started to wake up and realize that identity theft is a big issue out there today. And you know what? When you look at some of the things that we talk about here today, let me just show you some facts. And before I do, I want to tell you that this presentation that I'm going to give you is a presentation that I'm going to show you the slides of. But we actually had somebody from Identity Theft come in and record this presentation for us on Monday. So it'll be a day or two yet before we get it up on our site, but it will be up on our site so that you could take people to it and just let them watch this video if you want. Or you can order a copy of the slides from us, or you can order a copy of the PowerPoint, which will have the videos right inside of it. And the presentation's actually a real good presentation. It takes and talks about identity theft as a whole. Right now, the Federal Trade Commission reports that identity theft has been the #1 consumer complaint for the last 13 consecutive years in the United States out there. Look at that top fact up there. Over 623 million Americans' identities have been reported lost or stolen since January 2005. Now, I got to tell you something important about that fact, and that is there's only 300 and some million Americans out there, which means we have seen multiple times that people have had their identities lost or stolen since 2005 out there. When you look at the fact over 400,000 dead people opened bank accounts last year. The revenue from trafficking financial data has surpassed that of drug trafficking right now. In fact, over 3.5 million children have already fallen victim to identity theft in the United States. These are some scary facts right now. And then you look at the future. USA Today says identity theft is poised to increase by a factor of 20 over the next 2 years alone. The criminals are just trying to figure out what to do with all the data that they're stealing out there. Right now, there's over 19,000 new identity theft victims every day. You're 3 times as likely to have your identity stolen than you are to have your house or your car broken into. These facts are scary when you look at it. And then you start looking at saying the average dollar amount charged in identity theft is $92,000. The average time taken by a victim to restore their identity is 607 hours. What's scary is it takes about 60 seconds to find out you were a victim of identity theft and 600 hours to fix that problem. But most identity theft issues aren't even credit related. This is a fact I was just telling you, and I'll tell you what, this is an interesting fact when you look at it. 60 seconds to find out you're a victim and 600 hours to restore that identity once you find out you are a victim. The thing is that a lot of people don't really understand identity theft. When they think of identity theft, they automatically think of the financial issues. And you hear people come out and say, well, yeah, but I know I can go to my credit card company or go to my bank and they handle stuff like that. They don't realize that there's a lot of identity theft that doesn't happen to your financial issues out there. First of all, there's character and criminal identity theft, employment identity theft, medical, financial, driver's license, and minor children out there. Now, when you actually see the video, what you would see is on this next slide, an actual video talking about this. And I am going to play one of the videos for you just so you get an example of what these videos look like out there.
Every time Stancy Nesby looks in the rearview mirror, she can't help but wonder if she's about to be pulled over. Everybody needs to put themselves in my shoes and know that this could happen to them.
A 30-year-old single mom with 4 kids who holds 2 jobs working as a nurse's assistant, life was hard enough before her problems with police.
It's made it really hard for me to smile and be the normal person that I felt like I was at first.
It started 4 years ago when Stancy was pulled over for speeding in the Bay Area. She admitted going too fast, but couldn't understand why she was being arrested.
I ended up going to jail that day. They didn't believe anything I was saying.
It turned out Stancy had a warrant for her arrest. The police databases showed she'd been busted for cocaine possession here in San Francisco's seedy Tenderloin district back in 1999, but that she never showed up for court appearances. Stancy had to spend 3 days in jail. The problem, she was innocent. Police later confirmed it when her fingerprints didn't match the real suspect who had used Stancy's name.
I've had nightmares about this.
She says police told her they'd fixed the problem, but 2 months later, Stancy was arrested again, this time at her home in Berkeley. Once again, she says when the officers discovered the error, they told her they'd help her clear her name. But 3 months later, Stancy was arrested again in yet another jurisdiction. And it didn't end there. From 2002 to 2004, Stancy was arrested or detained 7 times by 5 police departments. In one instance, hauled off right in front of her children.
The kids were crying, and basically they ended up, throwing me on the ground and sticking their knees in my back.
I'll tell you what, this is kind of identity theft things that you see. I'll let you wait until you see the full video so you can watch the rest of these. But in the area of employment, they talk about people that have their Social Security numbers stolen and then used for other people to get jobs, and screwing up their Social Security, screwing up their tax situation out there. And I'll tell you what, this is something that happens really frequently now with the immigration problems that we have. Then you got medical identity theft, where you see people that all of a sudden have their medical records switched with other people who rack up big operations, but that isn't the problem. The problem is not only do they rack up the costs for big operations out there, they also change the medical records. And all of a sudden you got things showing up on your medical records that could affect you. The wrong blood type, different background medical things that might be critical that, you know what, if you don't know what's on your medical records, it could create problems for you. And of course there's the financial out there. The financial situation is a big one out there. When you look at the fact that it's not just the fact that people might be able to go out there and get their money back from the banks and stuff, it's notifying them all. It's contacting them. It's making sure this is all handled. The same thing when you get into the area of out there with driver's license theft out there. Okay, and then you see the minor theft out there, which is really fascinating because they got videos in there that talk about kids that are 1 year old and people have stolen their identity already, are racking up credit, and nobody ever thinks about the fact of checking the credit report of a 1 or 2 year old child out there, There's a couple really good videos here, and this is one, I love this quote and this picture of this kid. I owe $16,000 on my credit cards, my condos in foreclosure, and I turned 7 on Friday. These are crimes that you don't hear about, but these are the types of identity theft that people face out there and are going to face more and more as people get on computers more, use the internet more, etc. So when we go out there and we talk to people about identity theft, basically we can tell them there's a lot of different types of identity theft plans out there. There's monitoring plans that are very cheap. You hear people getting these through their credit bureau or their bank, and they maybe pay $29 a year for it. But basically all it does is watch their credit, and if something pops up, it goes ahead and notifies them of it. And then you have reimbursement plans. That's like LifeLock out there. And you see LifeLock, they do a ton of advertising out there. They talk about the $1 million thing out there. But all LifeLock is really a reimbursement plan. It says, we'll monitor your situation, we'll notify you when you have your identity theft, and then will reimburse you the time that it takes you to fix everything up. You know what? When you look at that, you sit there and see that stat before where it talks about 600 hours, and I go, I don't have 600 hours to spend on something like this. Fraud alert service, if that's all they're going to do for me, it doesn't help me either. What you want to look for today is a restoration plan. And that's a company that's going to come out there and say, here's the deal. Okay, we're not just going to monitor your situation. We're not just going to watch over you. If something happens to you, we're going to step in and help you restore yourself to where you were prior to the identity theft. You know, that's the key that we offer today when we offer people the Identity Theft Shield. It's provided exclusively by Kroll Fraud Solutions Group. They're one of the largest in the world, and they're specialists in handling this. It starts out with a complete credit analysis. It looks at your credit right now and analyzes it all, sends you a report on them. You know, a lot of people find out at this point in time that they've had their identity stolen, you know. But this is the first step in the process. Then, on top of that, it gives you 24-hour credit monitoring. Credit monitoring means watching your credit reports. I love this part of this because anytime somebody touches one of my credit reports, I get an email from them, and it gives me a link so I can go check it out and see exactly what happened there, even if it's a company just putting out a feeler to see if they should mail a credit card offer to me. You know, it's a neat thing to have. And if I don't have anything happen in the month, I get an email from them saying, hey, by the way, you had a cool month. Nothing happened. If your identity does get stolen, you get complete identity restoration out there. And when you buy a plan, it covers your entire family, including the minor kids inside of your family. So this is a great plan out there. You know, Kroll is the world's leading risk consulting company. They're headquartered in New York. They were founded in 1972, and right now they operate in 65 cities, 33 countries with over 3,800 employees out there. And their specialty is in one area, monitoring credit and restoring the lives of identity theft victims. They've got a tremendous, tremendous package out there. And you know what? Once you give this presentation to someone, you can show them exactly what's going on out there. And they've got all the tools to make this happen for you out there. If you want a way to make the transition from a normal insurance sale into identity theft, they've got identity theft protection tips. And how you can make that transition is very simple. You just want to look at the client during the presentation and say, here's the deal. You know, I know you've heard about what's happened at Target and eBay. You know, identity theft is getting to be a big deal out there today. So today, as your insurance agent, I offer you a lot of protection on your home, your auto, your life, your health, whatever protection you're currently offering to clients. But I want to make sure that I take a second and review some identity theft protection tips with you and talk about the fact that you don't want something like this to happen to you. So here's some tips. First of all, especially for seniors out there who are used to carrying their Social Security cards, we're telling you, don't carry your Social Security cards anymore. Okay, you want to have the number with you, I know that, but don't carry your card itself. Keep it safe at home. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to walk down this list with them and talk about the different things that they should do to help themselves. Make sure that they don't have a problem with identity theft out there. And then when you get to the bottom, okay, number 12 is invest in an identity theft protection plan. And then ask them right up front, do you have a plan already? If they say yes, ask them what kind of a plan do you have? Okay, is it a plan that offers you full restoration? You know, today it's crucial when we talk about identity theft plans that you look at a plan that offers full restitution, because things are a lot more complicated out there today. And it's not as easy as people think. Did you know that it takes over 600 hours to go back and try to restore your identity after it's been stolen? So use this as a pivot and then bring them into the presentation or bring them in to watch the recording on the website. The recording on the website, by the way, Corey has done such a great job for us on the computer side of this. But she's even got that so it will play right on your iPhone or your iPad. So you could open your iPhone and your iPad and play that presentation for your clients. And then go to the brochures. We have a brochure that talks about the identity theft plan. This is the basic plan here. And then on top of that, we have the, whoops, I'm going to jump over here, I'm sorry. We have for each plan the brochure that explains what is identity theft. It gives you some facts over here. And this is the basic family plan, which costs $14.95 per month. I got to tell you something, $14.95 is very, very low cost for the protection that you get from this plan. Because if you go to this, I'm going to jump back to the right one again, this plan sheet right here, and go down to the next page, it talks about exactly what identity theft coverage does for you. As long as you give them the power of attorney once you have your identity stolen, they're going to assist you in organizing all the details of getting everything ready to go here. And then when it comes down to the restoration process, they're going to go out and do the entire restoration for you. They're going to make sure that they contact all the creditors and the collection agencies. They'll dispute all the fraudulent accounts. You know, talking to this company, the thing that sold me on it is they said, here's the bottom line. If you had an 890 credit score before your identity was stolen, when we get done restoring you, you'll have an 890 credit score. We're not going to restore you to a better score than you had before, but we will restore you to the score that you had prior to that. You know, then you look at all these things that they're willing to do to make sure that they make this happen for you, along with the follow-up 120 days after the resolution to show you all of the credit reports and show you that they've accomplished what they set out to do. Now, when you look at that coverage and you realize that that plan's only $14.95 a month for the entire family, what a great deal. Now, we were talking about this earlier because I have the Premier plan. And the Premier plan is a plan that the major difference, and I know Tom is going to add some points in this area, but the major difference to me is that this gives me a complete credit analysis of all three credit bureaus, and it offers full monitoring of all three credit bureaus out there. Well, I do a lot of traveling. I have a lot of credit cards. I'm buying stuff on the internet a lot in different parts of the country. So I think it's important to have the coverage for all three credit bureaus out there. And along with that, it gives me the help if I got my wallet stolen out there. So simple things like that, to me, is a big factor. And for $29.95 a month, it covers myself, it covers my wife, and it covers all of our kids. You know what? What a great plan. This is the simplest plan that you're ever going to sell out there. Because I've talked to agents. We introduced this in our career shop a couple of weeks ago, and they've been out there selling it. And the agents have said, you know what? Almost everybody that I talk to, Mark, once I sit and I explain a few things about identity theft, they all go, you know, I've been thinking about getting some kind of coverage there, and they end up buying. And the application is incredibly simple. The application, all you got to do, it's a member application. Here's one thing you have to do, is you got to write your A2 number right up here in the top of the app. That's how we credit it to you. And then you go down and you just fill it out. Okay, all you got to do is get the client's personal information, get their dependent information, have them fill out a method of payment, whether they want to do it through the bank or through their checking account, or or through a credit card. Doesn't matter. Okay, fill it out, and then have them sign it down at the bottom and send it in to us. It's the simplest sale you'll ever make, and I'll tell you what, it's a great door opener. Our agents have been bringing this back out to their current clients, and a lot of my agents specialize out there in the senior marketplace. And they said, tell you what, Mark, the seniors just embrace this. He said, I've had agents tell me that they've had clients that have told them that they currently had a cheap plan through a bank, but they were kind of worried about it, and they were glad to see that the agent was able to offer them a more comprehensive plan out there. So, Tom, at this point in time, I'll kind of swing over to you. Is there anything you want to add to what we're talking about here?
Not really, Mark. I'll tell you the biggest thing, you guys, is remember to keep it simple. And the big difference, obviously, and Mark's done a great job of pointing that out, is that full restoration, because that is by far the biggest difference. When you have these other reports like LifeLock, they spend a lot of money advertising their program, as you know, from public radio and on TV. They have that $1 million guarantee, and that's basically to reimburse for your time. We literally have a document that's available, I believe, on the A2 website already. If it's not, it'll be up there, where it's like a 67-page document that shows you how to go about restoring your own identity. And it literally takes you about 3 seconds flipping through that to think, I don't want to go anywhere near there. That's the huge difference with this program. It's by far the most comprehensive that says, you know what, when it happened, we're going to be there to restore you back to where you started. And that's the huge difference. And with your clients, probably the biggest difference to make sure you understand is, just like myself, when we first came across this, everybody thinks financial. Everybody thinks, oh, the Target deal, yeah, my credit card, my bank. And remember, that's only 17% of real identity theft. Those aren't even the huge issues, because most of the time those credit cards will take care of themselves, and the bank will take care of you sooner or later. So the difference is those big issues that happen more often than any of us care to think about. And those are the ones, just like your homeowner's insurance, your auto insurance, everything else, you have a 3 times better chance of having your identity stolen as you do having your car broken into or your house broken into. So it shows this happens more often than any of us want. And the simple part of it is you have to have protection nowadays. With more and more people on the internet, it's something we absolutely have to have. So if you're in the senior market, it's never been more true, because the seniors get picked on more than anybody else. So I'll turn her back to Mark. You did a good job, Mark, for laying out the program.
I want everybody to know now the key to this program is that with this program, you don't have to be insurance licensed, okay? And it doesn't matter where you sell this program in the nation. So you can take this product and go ahead. You can sell it over the phone if you desire. You can sell it over the internet if you desire. So this is a neat little plan to help you get started in A2. What you got to do to get started here is simply go to the A2 site, go to our supplies area. You can download the application. You can download the plans that brochures and the plan forms that I showed you today. And you can get started doing this right away. It's an easy, nice plan for you to start your career in A2. Go out there, sell one of these, solidify your position inside the program. And I think we're going to see a lot of agents that are going to embrace this product, because it's a product that you can bring right back out to your current clients and your friends and show it to them. And you know what? It's a nice little additional profit center. So,
real quick, Mark, I want to jump in. This is Tom again. Once you go out and write your first identity theft program, showing that you're serious, you looked at the program enough to understand it, you'll be surprised how easy these are to sell. By the way, we have agents who go out and sell 7 of them a night on our career side here. But once you do that, once you have the one paper app, we get it in, then at that point, I'll initiate a program that they're willing to do for us over at LegalShield, where they'll give you your own little website link, and I'll send you that. Then you can do it right online over the phone. You can send clients there, whatever the case. And when they fill out the app, you'll automatically get credit, so you won't have to write your name and your A2 number on top of that. It'll be designed to go directly to you, so you get credit for it. So we do ask, because we don't want to overwhelm them with numbers and take advantage of them, that once you write your first paper app, we'll start initiating that process automatically for you.
okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yep. And if you have any questions, make sure you just pick up the phone and give us a call, okay? I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We appreciate it. I am going to open it up for questions here after a second. I just want to stop the recording right now.